Ser and estar are really challenging for English speakers, so it's important to have an easy rule of thumb for choosing between them. But I hope you haven't been using the acronyms D.O.C.T.O.R and P.L.A.C.E. According to a lot of YouTube videos, you're supposed to use ser for dates, occupations, characteristics, time, origin, and relationships. And you're supposed to use estar for position, location, action, condition, and emotions. This whole thing is super easy to debunk. I'm going to show you why these lists don't work, and then I'll teach you a simple rule of thumb that's actually much more handy and that'll get you thinking in Spanish more quickly. So first of all, here's the biggest problem with D.O.C.T.O.R and P.L.A.C.E. Trying to keep these lists in your head all the time is really impractical. In a conversation, you don't have time to run through a whole list in your head. I mean, you're going to have to say to be or some version of to be pretty much every time you open your mouth. So cross-checking against these lists in real time is going to be impossible. Let's say, for example, that you're holding something and someone asks you, "What do you have there? ¿Qué tienes ahí?" To answer this question, which verb will you use? Oh no, let's run through the list. Is she asking me about its occupation, a description of it? Is it its characteristics or its condition or where it's from? And not only that, but this just isn't how native Spanish speakers think about these verbs at all. There are no lists of categories that distinguish between the two verbs. In fact, no native Spanish speaker confuses ser with estar. Ever. Not even a 3-year-old. And that's because in a native Spanish speaker's mind, there's just one simple rule that's used to determine if the verb is ser rather than estar. I'll teach you that rule right after I finish debunking these silly lists. But first, let's just look at how comically inaccurate these lists are. The rules just don't work so much of the time. And we'll start with a very simple example. His hometown is in Spain. This sounds like an origins example, and that's in D.O.C.T.O.R, right? But you would say, su pueblo está en España. Next example, let's say you're looking at a bunch of pictures and it's like, can you tell me which of these animals is swimming? Is it this one? Is it this one? And the answer is, it's the dog. Now, here's the question. To say, it's the dog, which one are you going to use, ser or estar? Well, none of the items in D.O.C.T.O.R make sense for this situation. And in context, we are talking about an action, which is the A in place, but we would actually use ser here, specifically es, because what follows the verb is a noun. And just for fun, I came up with a bunch of sentence examples that debunk every single item of this list. So here's an example. Date. Christmas is close. La Navidad está cerca, not es cerca. Occupation. Is the doctor here or is the nurse here? ¿Está aquí el médico o está aquí la enfermera? Characteristics. The owner is alive, but the store is permanently closed. Both sides of that use está, not es. Time. Your friend is at the evening party, but I was at the morning party. Both of those use estar. Relationships. Maria and I are married. Maria y yo estamos casados. Okay, that debunks all of the items in D.O.C.T.O.R. Let's go over to place now, and we'll start with position. My floor is the top floor. Mi piso es el último piso. Location. Lima is a city in Peru. Lima es una ciudad en Perú. Condition. This is the dirty plate, not the clean one. Este es el plato sucio, no el limpio. And then finally, emotion. That's not happiness, that's fear. Eso no es felicidad, eso es miedo. All right, enough of all this. Using lists that mention topics is just not useful. Instead, here is the real rule for choosing between ser and estar, the rule that native Spanish speakers use without even thinking about it. You use the verb ser specifically to describe what something is. For example, let's look at this sentence. My floor is the top floor. In English, we have my floor, and then is, and then the top floor. The purpose of the word is here is to describe what my floor is, specifically the top floor. Basically, is functions like an equals sign here. We're saying that my floor and the top floor are the same thing. Getting a little more technical, if you divide the sentence into these three parts, we have something that functions as a noun, then is, then another thing that functions as a noun. And every single time that happens, with no exceptions, the verb you're going to use is ser, not estar. That applies to every circumstance, every topic of conversation imaginable, even if the things you're talking about are locations, positions, emotions, or anything else. So ser is used to describe what something is, or in the case of a person, who that person is. But estar is used to describe where something is, or how it is. For example, let's look at his hometown is in Spain. Let's break this into three parts. So before the word is, we have his hometown, and then after the word is, we have in Spain. This phrase, in Spain, doesn't function as a noun. It's a whole phrase describing where something is. So in this sentence, we're not saying what his hometown is. Instead, we're using the word is to link his hometown to in Spain, describing where it is. In cases like this, where we're answering the question, where is it, we use estar. Okay, now for fun, let's go through those lists again, the lists that I used to debunk Doctor and Place, and let's just use this simplified rule to determine whether each of these uses ser or estar. In this one we had, it's the dog, or it is the dog. Now, of course, that's what it is. It and the dog are the same thing. And if it's what it is, it's ser, so it es the dog. In the next one, Christmas is close. So that's not what Christmas is, we're describing where it is. So we have Christmas está close. In this one we have, is the doctor here or is the nurse here? Now we do have to restructure this to put the is between the things that it's linking. So we could say, the doctor is here or the nurse is here. And in each of these phrases, the doctor is here, we're not linking the doctor to what the doctor is, we're linking it to the adverb here. Same thing with the nurse. So in each of these cases, we're using estar to describe location. Next, the owner is alive, but the store is permanently closed. So the owner being alive is not considered what the owner is, it's considered how the owner is. Same thing with the store being permanently closed. That's not what it is, that's how it is permanently closed. So we use está in both these cases. Next, your friend is at the evening party, but I was at the morning party. And sure, in this sentence, we're contrasting two different times, but we're not saying what something is. We're using the word is or was in the second phrase to say where somebody is or was. That's why both of these use estar. Next, Maria and I are married. So that's how we are. We estamos married. Next, Lima is a city in Peru. So before the word is, we have Lima, which functions as a noun, and after is, we have a city in Peru. And of course, a city in Peru is a noun, even though it's a place. So since both of these are nouns, we're saying what Lima is, which means we'll use ser. It's the same in this next one. This is the dirty plate, not the clean one. So after is, we have the dirty plate, which is a noun. We're kind of using is as the equal sign between this and the dirty plate, saying what it is. So this is going to be ser. Last example, that's not happiness, that's fear. In both of these cases, we're talking about what an emotion is. So we're going to use ser in both cases. Now, of course, some of these sentences were a lot easier than others, and that's where a lot of the nuance comes in. So in some of these sentences, we clearly had some sort of noun connecting to some other noun where it was clear we're saying, this is what this thing is, or this is who this person is. But in other situations, we had to use our simple rule, what it is versus where or how it is, in a more nuanced way. If you want to master the nuances of when to choose ser versus estar so that it becomes second nature, subscribe to this channel to see new videos on this topic when they come out. Or check out our video course that specifically teaches ser and estar. If you join the course, in a matter of 5 days, you're going to master choosing ser versus estar. My team of native-speaking Spanish linguists have helped me put together a full step-by-step program that not only teaches all of the essential rules and all the special nuances of choosing one verb versus the other, It also includes quizzes with hundreds of real-life sentence examples. All of this will give you virtually unlimited practice choosing between ser and estar in a wide variety of contexts until you're an absolute pro at choosing one of these verbs in real time. So check out the link in the description of this video to join that course when it goes live. Or subscribe to this channel for more tips on how you can master thinking in Spanish so that you can make deep, personal connections with the Spanish speakers in your life.